Hello and welcome back to my channel, and today I am filming my November wrap-up. So I will give some stats here. I read 12 books, 4,228 pages. I had 4 3 stars, 1 3.5 star, 3 4 stars, and 4 5 stars. And I read like 1 young adult and like some romance and mystery, and that is basically it. I just kind of tried to stick with my roots, and it was kind of a difficult reading month, but I still read 12 books, so I mean that is still very good. But I just had a really hard time sitting down and reading physically this month, and that happens. I'm still having a hard time. Just the holiday season, November, until the end of December is just pretty busy. Not really work-wise. It's a little bit busy, but just other things occupying my mind, like trying to keep the house clean and different things like that. Gifts for the kids. Just my mind is pretty busy, so it's hard for me to focus. It even was hard for me to focus on a couple of audiobooks. So that is just how my mind is right now, but it will calm down soon enough. And I just have to remember that this is temporary. And I still read 12 books, so that is great. So my first book that I read was a book that I finished from October, and that was In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. This is a very hyped book right now. It does not have an audiobook. I read it through ebook through my library, thankfully, and I enjoyed it, but to me it's not really worth the hype too much, unfortunately. So I gave that a 3 star. It just took me a while to get through it. It was not like that fast read that everybody says, and yeah, it just wasn't my favorite. But I don't really I need to really look at these hyped books and analyze if I am going to like them, because I don't really like books with a lot of characters. So I did expect that going into it. It still was enjoyable, and I do recommend if you would like that, dark academia, coming back to college kind of book with a group of friends. Next, I read Twisted Love by Huang, and I rated that 3.5s. It is a indie published romance series, and I honestly read this first one so I could read the second one. The first one is very good. It is a brother's best friend, which I do enjoy, but the second one is a bodyguard romance, and when I was looking for bodyguard romance, the second book came up a lot, so I read books in order, no matter what, usually. But yeah, this is a brother's best friend's romance, and it is still really good, and I do recommend this first book, and will be reading the second one as soon as I can. And then I read a Taylor Jenkins Reid book. This is an older release, and it is After I Do. And I need to see what else I need to read from her, because I don't think that I have to read too much more from her to finish out her backlist. So that was a kind of, I don't know how to explain it, like a marriage and trouble romance. And I really enjoyed that one for sure. I love her older books. I like The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and I kind of liked, Malibu Rising, but I really like her older books. And this was, of course, a 5 star for me because it's Taylor Jenkins Reid, and like I said, I really enjoy her older books. This is about Lauren and Ryan's relationship, and their marriage has kind of reached this point where they are just annoyed with each other all the time and they are not happy. So they decide to do a kind of unconventional thing, and they take a whole year separation and see what they get into that year. They do not contact each other, and then at the end of the year, they decide whether they want to be together in the end or not. And of course, it's going to bring the tears towards the end. And then I decided to read that before the Colleen Hoover Readathon. And then it was the Colleen Hoover Readathon, which, brings all the feels, Colleen Hoover books. So, starting the Colleen Hoover Readathon, I read Hopeless, which was a 5 stars, and really, really enjoyed. And I will not talk about these books too much in depth because I do have my very first reading vlog, ever reading vlog for the Colleen Hoover Readathon. So if you want to hear more in-depth thoughts, definitely go ahead and watch that vlog because I'm just very proud of it. So, whenever you do your first reading vlog or, something like that where it takes a lot of editing, you're just really proud of it. So next was Losing Hope, which was 4 stars. It was in the main character's man's perspective. And so that's why I didn't rate it as highly, because it was a lot of the same thing, but I did enjoy it. Next, I finally read Verity by Colleen Hoover. This book is a very hyped thriller by Colleen Hoover because she's a romance author and she did something different and wrote a thriller. So, of course it's really, really hyped, and it is for a good reason. I did rate it 4 stars because there's just something missing, not really, my favorite thriller, but I still did really love it and recommend it for sure if you like Colleen Hoover. It is a little messed up, that is for sure, but I do recommend it. Definitely recommend it. And then after Verity, I read Too Late on my Kindle, and I really loved this book. I rated this 5 stars. Highly recommend this book. This is one of her older releases, and it was really, really good. And I was talking to somebody while I was reading this book, and I found out whenever Colleen Hoover first wrote this book, it was written in just a couple chapters at a time for you to read. And I'm so glad I read the whole book because I could not have taken only having a couple chapters at a time. That would have not worked for me. So if you have not read Too Late yet, I highly recommend that one for sure. I am trying to get through all of Colleen Hoover's backlist, so you will definitely see me read more of her books in the future. Last 2 books of the Colleen Hoover Readathon were Layla. I also rated that a 4 star. That was just a little bit too weird for me, but I was down with it, but still just a little bit too much. But yeah, 4 stars, still really good, still recommend. And then lastly, I wanted to squeeze one little book in before the end of the readathon. So I read Never Never Part 1, and I still haven't read the other parts, but Part 1 was still really pretty good, and I'm excited to see where the other 2 parts go, and I rated this a 3 star. So those were the books that I read for the Colleen Hoover Readathon. And then after that readathon, I was ready for a good thriller because I was just ready. So what did I pick up? I picked up False Witness for the book troupe that Gabby Reads hosted. And I'm so happy that I had the audiobook because, Karen Slaughter's books are, good chunkers. And I just really love the audiobooks for her books as well. So, False Witness is about 2 sisters, Callie and Leah, and they had a hard past growing up and everything. And I'm sorry about the fire alarm. But they had a hard past and everything, but this is flashes back a little bit from whenever they were children. Something happened whenever they were children. I don't want to go too much in depth with this because, if you don't know too much about this book, you will be shocked in the first chapter. Let me just say that. But Leah is a lawyer, and so her being a lawyer, somebody comes to her from her past and tries to kind of expose them, and it goes from there. And even Gabby said she doesn't really like blackmail type of tropes and everything, but this worked for her. And this was kind of like a 4 star throughout a lot of the book, but towards the end, I just could not give it less than 5 stars. I love Karen Slaughter, and this is, I guess I would say, a low 5 stars because I really love I really love Pretty Girls, but this is still really good and I do recommend. So I guess I would say low 5 stars, but it is definitely it is definitely 5 stars, but I just like Pretty Girls a little bit more. So after that, I read a kind of hyped up YA thriller that I was nervous about. I'm not going to lie, I was nervous about this. But I actually kind of liked it, and I have 3 stars here, but I might raise that a little bit more, and that was The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and I'm very surprised on how much I liked this. I was worried because I did not like Not a Happy Family by Sherry Lapina, and a lot of people compare that book and The Inheritance Games to the movies Knives Out. Have I watched Knives Out yet? No, but I definitely want to. And I'm excited to continue with this series. I rated it 3 stars, but like I said, I might raise it up to like a 3.5 or 4. And this is about a girl and her half-sister or stepsister, something like that. And she lives with her sister, and she is in high school. She gets a letter that somebody's been trying to get in contact with her because she not won, but like got an inheritance, and the family that she got the inheritance from is not liking that. So it's kind of like a fight of like, you don't deserve this inheritance and whatnot, and it just goes through that. I'm, like I said, really looking forward to the rest of this series, and do recommend that book. If you are nervous to read that, definitely don't be, because it was really good and only in pretty much that one person's perspective, which I enjoyed. And then the last book that I read for the month was The Therapist by B.A. Paris. I rated that a 3 stars. I enjoyed Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris, and whenever I saw that this book was coming out this year, I was pretty excited to read it. And like I said, I gave it 3 stars. It was okay, but just not my favorite thing ever. And I have read a lot of thrillers, so I just need something to wow me. But still a pretty good book. It is about a couple that moves into a house, and a therapist used to live there, and she got murdered, and the people that moved in, the woman did not know, anything about this past, and she finds out about the therapist that used to live there and tries to figure out more about the situation and like do a little investigating and things like that, and just really gets caught up in who this person was that lived in that house before her. So that is everything that I read for the month of November. Thank you so much for watching this video, and definitely like and subscribe if you like this kind of content, and I will talk to you later. Thank you. Bye.